you have all of these different obstacles and behavior patterns that you're not conscious about. You can't work on those until you tap into your inner child, because that is the person who is taking a steering wheel when you're maneuvering in these triggering moments or life situations that kind of just put you in a different mindset. To all the listeners out there, my name is Dana. They call me Dana Dane the GOAT. It's based off of Dana Dane the rapper from back in the days, in the 90s, 80s. What is my occupation? I am a full-time art therapist and a part-time personal trainer, and I do content and all that other stuff. In my fitness journey, I use a lot of kettlebells and unconventional training stuff. So like still maces, club, anything I can do. And I am 32. I'll be 33 next month.
Well, happy birthday in advance.
Thank you. Blessed up.
Blessed what?
Blessed up.
Blessed up, exactly. So what is your fitness journey? So like, how did your fitness journey start? Have you always been into training, or is this something that came a little later in life? What's the deal?
Here's my story, and I can't wait for this to get big. I came out the womb doing crunches.
There we go.
No.
And then after that, what followed?
After that, I had to walk.
Yeah.
I'm just kidding. At least from what my mom has told me, she used to take me to the gym with her when she was younger. Just, like the little kiddie play area stuff. But let me see. I was always into fitness once I started playing sports. I started out, traditional basketball, but my true passion was softball, and I started playing that at 11. So once I knew I had to build up the muscle to be better, I started working out, and it became just a seasonal thing. Every time the season would start, I would try to work out, get in shape. And then in college, I started taking it a little bit more seriously. After freshman 15 and just blowing up like a balloon, I really dug deep. And even then it was on and off because I was on campus. So the dorm life really had me. And by the time I came home, that was thickums. So then I would work out and then go back to school, and then it would be a cycle. So I want to say during my last year of undergrad, I really started taking it serious. I would go to work, come home super late. The gym was 24 hours. So I would come home, go to the gym, go to sleep, wake up, do the same thing. And then that just became habitual. I just did it every day. But then I had to switch it from the nighttime to the morning time.
Okay. So you've been in that kind of zone with fitness, for the last 10, 15 years?
Basic. Oh my gosh.
Not as old as me, not as old as many. So don't worry. You're still a baby. You're still
in spirit. But yeah, I would have to say maybe 10, 11, 10, 15 years ish.
Okay. And so was it kind of weights? Was it more cardio you were doing? Was it both?
It started very traditional. I wanted to lose weight. I wanted to be skinny. So I did a lot of cardio, but I also wanted to be strong. So it was a lot of weights, your traditional bodybuilding stuff, bicep curls, triceps curls, all of the simple machines. And then what really locked me in was deadlifts and squats. I was watching Untamed Strength. Do you know him?
Yeah.
So I was just watching his videos and I was like, oh my God, I just want to lift heavy. And then I never turned back. Literally after that, I've been locked in trying different things.
So you said initially you were trying to get skinny, right?
Mm-mm.
So now what I'm seeing on social media is I'm seeing a lot of young women are kind of dismissing the whole skinny thing, and they're looking to kind of get strong. Um, and it's very heartwarming to see and very comforting to see like young women kind of throw away that idea of getting kind of wafer thin and
Mm.
focusing on being strong. It's a nice change. It's a nice societal change. And I think, stuff like social media, people like yourself posting, that helps. So at what point did you, at what point did you focus on the strength?
Um, Let me see. I
Was it all from the Untamed?
It was the Untamed, and then there was this other guy, I think Marcus, something with the M. He did a CrossFit thing. I had started watching CrossFit too. So that really upped everything for me. I was like, oh, I just want to be strong. If they can do it, I can do it. Um, so I tried to do a lot more barbell work. Matt Frazier was one of the people who really like, oh, okay, let me step this up. And the Davis daughters, all of them, Tia Toomey, all of them. I was like, if you can do it, I can do it. Like that was it.
And what was it that then got you into kettlebell?
The pandemic. Actually, let me stop. Right before the pandemic, I started getting more into organic fitness stuff. Just like being able to be mobile. So it started off with I learned about animal flow. So I was doing the animal flow and then everything else started popping up, just like kettlebells at first. And I was like, oh, what is this? Mom, Pops, can you get me a kettlebell for Christmas? So I got my first set of kettlebells, which I actually use today in all of my home videos. Fun fact. Um, but then I had just got certified as a level 1 animal flow coach. So I was really getting into it. But then the pandemic happened. And then I couldn't do anything and I couldn't go to the gym. So I just had to use the kettlebells. And my good friend, Ricardo, Wolfpack all day, he texted me one day because I posted something. He was like, hey, you need to come to Brooklyn. And I'm like, why am I coming to Brooklyn? I live in Queens. Like, that's mad far. But he was like, no, we're doing like a whole fitness thing with kettlebells. You need to come. And I went one day, tried to work out, I almost died. I was I was doing my best, holding up a good front, but my body was like, what is this? This is not it.
And was that juggling or was that just
No,
kind of
I
like the
didn't even get to the
conventional?
juggle part. I was
Okay, okay.
dying in a workout, and at the end, they just started doing stuff. And I was like, what is this? Is this dancing with a kettlebell? Was this for me? Since then, I just never turned back.
Awesome, awesome. To kind of go back a couple of steps, what got you into qualifying as a personal trainer?
Just all of my fitness stuff. I was in your traditional gym, LA Fitness, and everybody was just like, your workout seems so good. Are you a personal trainer? I'm like, no, I'm not a person. Um, and another good friend of mine, his name is Matt, was like, hey, can you train my wife? And I was like, yeah, sure. No problem. So I ended up training her and I realized that I liked it. I was like, oh, this is fun. Like it becomes very I want to say multifaceted because I am helping them not only with their physical health, but I'm actually helping them with their mental health because at the time I was like working on being certified as a personal trainer, but I was also a licensed therapist. So I was just like having all these deep conversations and learning a lot more about them, which got me to thinking like, oh, I can combine the two and just be great. Like it felt more purposeful for me to not just help somebody physically, but to help them mentally as well. Because 9 times out of 10, the battle is all mental. And it's the little things that we don't pay attention to that hold us back and keep us in certain cycles of behaviors, like self-sabotage and all that stuff.
Mm. So has your kind of exploration and journey into kettlebell training, has that also helped with your therapy work?
Of course, in so many ways, in how or I'll speak for myself, how I give myself grace, and how I've built up confidence in maneuvering in other areas. What I really do love about Wolfpack, and especially the first couple of years or months that I was really, I'll say a baby wolf, um, they were really encouraging with me, like learning new moves. Um, and it was always like, nah, you got this, queen. Don't doubt yourself. Like, you got this. Just visualize it. You already did it. And maybe like one or two times later, I literally had it. And so I walk a little bit differently. I walk more comfortably in my skin, knowing that I have a great support system. Um, and that even though I don't have it the first time, I know that I can eventually get it. And I just take that with me everywhere. I might not get it the first time. I might struggle a little bit, but I'll get it one day.
And I guess it's that kind of beginner's mindset almost that helps you in kind of communicating with your clients, like kind of knowing that knowing that you've been in a situation where you're dealing with a complex movement and finally kind of, kind of clocking it. And then in some way it helps with helping people with life lessons, I guess.
All the time. All the time. I had a thought and then I lost it. It was deep too.
No worries, no worries. It will come back.
It
It
will.
will come back. What is your what other than the wolf pack, where do you find inspiration for some of your movement?
Oh, you said it was going to come back. You called it quick. It becomes playful and joyful. And what I didn't tell you is I used to dance, not like professionally. But I was the dancer in the family. They used to call me Michael Jackson because he was. And then in college, I was on a dance team. So kettlebell juggling and animal flow felt like dancing. And so a part of a part of what I used to say when I was younger was like, make it fun. This is literally just adult play. And that's how I tell my clients. I'll be like, it's just adult play. And like, so in mental health, one of the things I stress is self care. Because as we get older, we think self care is like buying things, going out partying, drinking, smoking, like all these things that we think is self care and fun. But none of that taps into your inner child. None of that helps you have any kind of like emotional release, or it doesn't nourish you in any kind of way. If anything, it depletes you. Shopping gives you a dopamine high. Drinking suppresses things because it's a depressant. Same thing with like smoking. It does nothing for you in a beneficial way. So how I would guide them is like, what did you do when you were younger? I used to play tag, right? I used to write poems. I used to draw. I used to go to the park. When's the last time you did that? I used to skate. I used to rollerblade. Right? When's the last time you did that? Oh, I haven't done that in years. Like, no, I was just skating 2 years ago.
See, for me, that's brilliant because I think that a lot of people that lose their kind of way when it comes to fitness and exercise, one of the reasons is because they're not connecting with their inner child.
Not at
Um, and I think one of the things I find with people that in the fitness industry, who are consistent over many years, is they are very playful. You know, in the first couple of seconds of us kind of getting together on this call, I can see you were playful, and I'm like, that's the key for a lot of people when it comes to remaining consistent with their training and remaining consistent with their workout. And as you kind of alluded to, connecting with your inner child is also kind of a positive for therapy as well, right?
Very much so. Because I always say adults aren't like real adults. We're the body. We're adult children. Like we're playing as adults. Do we really have it down pat? No. Don't get me wrong. There are a handful of us who are genuinely adults and like whatever. But when you think about personality in I want to say it's Freud. But anyway, one of the pioneers in therapy, you have your id, ego, and superego. You have three personalities in you on a regular basis. That's not even talking about like the bookmarks and like development where you were stagnant. So if you include those, you have more than three different personalities because you have all of these different obstacles and behavior patterns that you're not conscious about. You can't work on those until you tap into your inner child because that is the person who is taking a steering wheel when you're maneuvering in these triggering moments or life situations that kind of just put you in a different mindset.
Of those personalities, what kind of shows up when you yourself are learning a complex move?
A complex moves. Definitely little Dana. And it depends because there's a little Dana who's like really fun and excited. And then there's a little Dana just like, I don't know if I got this. Like, I know I have a ritual, I guess, of a mindset. When there's something new comes, I'm like, I don't know. Like, that's the first one. Or the second option is like, if you can do it, I can do it. Period. I'm going to figure it out. 9 times.
That's a fingers crossed. And what kind of processes and techniques do you use for trying to clock a complex move? Do you use stuff like visualization? Do you kind of practice the move, say, for example, without the kettlebell initially? Like, what's your process?
I've come to the point where I do both. I visualize, and depending on if I know I have the move and the basis for it, and it's just like little things, or I'm just like this close, then I will practice without it. This is me trying to practice, and my foot needs to come here. So that's like the mind-body connection. Now, I'll say mind, body, soul, and that's really big in my everything, in my goal talk journey. Is I want to be connected mind, body, and soul. Mind in a set that like, I need to like cognitively have it processed. Body in the sense that I need to, one, be so in tune with my body and my nervous system that I don't get overwhelmed trying to get this move. Because we get excited and then all of a sudden we'll self-sabotage because we haven't made that mind-body connection to slow things down. And then in soul, it's just, I want to be so deep in flow that it happens like this. Every time, like this. So this way, once I get it, I already know I'm going to do this. I'm going to do this. I'm going to bask in a moment with a smile, but now I got it.
Talking of flow, what is your relationship to risk? Because, some people watching kettlebell juggling will, kind of, they'll be biting their fists, like, kind of like watching some of the stuff that you guys do. So what is your personal relationship with risk and flying kettlebells, effectively?
Let me tell you, I hit myself in the head last week. I did. I was doing a wolf flip, and it's something that I've done clearly like all the time. And it's when you put it between your legs and it comes over your shoulder. Did it plenty of times. And I just wanted to get the bell higher so that I wasn't catching it low and right here, but I can catch it up high and get momentum to do another one. And it just didn't work in my favor. It went like this, I went like this, and it's it. But I knew that I couldn't stop there. Literally, I was like, okay, now I have to do it. And I have to do it 3 more times so that my body knows, don't be a punk about it. Like, you got it. You've done it before. Why not? And that's what all of the moves, how many times I've dropped it on my toe, jammed my finger, hit myself in the ribs. It's kind of like, charge it to the game. With no risk, there's no reward. And what really pushes me when it comes to any kind of risk is that it's all in God's hands. If it's meant for me, it's meant for me. All I have to do is show up and do the work. So if I'm meant to get that trick, I'm going to get that trick. If I was meant to get a muscle up, I was going to get a muscle up. And even if it doesn't feel like I'm meant for it, I know that if I do the work, I can get there. And then once again, I have the support system who will help me get there and help me build the confidence to just like push past my own personal obstacles, getting frustrated and feeling not capable.
There's kind of like a growing movement on social media for what I like to call health and safety warriors. So people that will, they'll talk about people's form and say the form is not on point and, you should do it this way. So there's a lot of energy with stuff like that, for example. And I'm sure there's, some people that will perhaps comment on your post talking about the risks of the throwing kettlebells and stuff. But, I mean, hearing the way you talk about it, it sounds like you're describing a sport as opposed to describing something that is just health and fitness related. And when something is a sport, it like risks are part and parcel of that, right?
True. I wouldn't quite say a sport and more like a journey.
Mm-hmm.
I can't stay in one spot. You can't stay in one spot and get busy with a kettlebell. You gotta move.
Mm-hmm.
If you stay stuck, how are you going to catch the kettlebell? Well, once you do something lavish, how are you going to get to that kettlebell? Because you're going to put it in the vicinity of where you're supposed to catch it. But if you don't move to get it, you're going to stay stuck. So it's less about a sport and more about personal growth. I don't want to stay stuck. I want to keep going. I want to be so confident in myself that things just flow naturally. And I could be comfortable in the uncomfortable. One of my old professors used to say, expect the unexpected and you'll never be surprised. So with that in my back pocket and understanding that like, I want to keep going. I don't want to be too comfortable. I want to be pushed a little bit so that I can do more. I feel like anything's possible.
And would that be your message to these health and safety warriors? Or do you have something specific that you tend to say to people that critique your movements from a safety point of view?
I'm sure I have a lot to say. Other than have fun, I have a mantra that's based on GOAT talk. It's grounded, optimistic, accountable thinking. I need to be grounded in myself. I need to be optimistic. I can't go into something thinking that I'm going to fail. I have to go into it being realistic, but a part of being realistic is being optimistic. And then I have to hold myself accountable for that thinking with action. I need the follow-up plan. I can think all I want, but if I don't act on it, what's going to happen? Nothing. So I guess in the realms of safety, I want to be grounded and present in myself. I don't want to be present in my insecurities. I want to be present in who I am today and my possibilities. No, you're not going to have the right form the first time you do it. Of course not. Nobody has the right form unless you are, let me put it this way, unless you have pushed yourself to just be that person. And you don't do that without starting from scratch. They've mastered all these other things so that they can show up and be like, oh no, I think I got it. And they get it. And that's being comfortable and grounded in yourself. So once you do that, it's just, okay, I'm accepting that this is how it's going to be, but I'm also receptive to feedback so that I can do it a little bit better.
From what you just said, I think for me, what kind of springs out is what you're doing. Maybe there may be some risks involved with kettlebell juggling, but you yourself are not being reckless in the way in which you're approaching it?
Sometimes you got to do the reckless stuff because that's what innovators do. You got to try something different. You can't do what everybody else is doing because then the whole community stays the same. How do you think we came up with a wolf flip? And I say we, I mean Colin. He took the risk. He said, oh, the bell can do this, so I'm going to make it happen. And did he hurt himself? I'm sure he did. The same way I hit myself in the head last week, I'm sure he's hit himself in the head or the shoulder, jammed a finger. There is risk. There's risk in everything. Unfortunately, this is a bit more physical, where if you get hurt, you're really going to get hurt. But getting hurt doesn't stop you. If anything, it makes you stronger. Anytime I hurt myself in any kind of fitness thing, I just say, oh, my muscles are going to repair and be stronger. I don't think, oh, no, I can't do this ever again. Like, I don't want to do this ever again. It's like, oh, no, you're a little broken, but give it a few weeks, I'll be stronger. My body just needs to remember that we're strong. Let's go.
I like that. I've got imagery in my head of you kind of doing a move, not quite getting it, dusting yourself off, taking a breath, going back into it and starting over again. And, and that is just that visualization is kind of like, the thing that a lot of people need in regard to life in general. Just dust themselves off, get up and just, do it and go again. All right. How much of your how much of your training in general is conventional as opposed to the unconventional kettlebell juggling, the mace stuff as well?
Anyway, between like 30, 40% of it. Yeah. So the gym is my playground. And that's how I see it. So when I'm at home, this is very much unconventional. When I'm in a gym, I might hit like 1 or 2 conventional machines. Do the basics. I never give up on squats, deadlifts, bench press, some dumbbell work, and then I'll do some calisthenics. So it's a nice little cocktail. I just mix it up, throw some seasoning in it, drink it throughout the week.
Yeah, and like looking at your profile, looking at snippets of your life, like, and also you having said that you're an art therapist, like creativity must kind of like run through you. I've seen some of the photography stuff that that you've put up, some of the filming that you've done, and yeah, it just seems that kind of your creativity is kind of almost like your compass, as it were.
Basically.
Okay.
I love how you said that. It's my compass. Wow. It's me being sentimental. It is. I think creativity has allowed me to be 10 times more consistent on social media this year. Because I had to release the outcome of, oh, I want to get more likes. I want to get more followers. I had to do it specifically for me so that I can see my growth in how I set up composition. How am I telling this story? How can I create the moment with my movements and the song I have in mind? And then, so now I've been doing voiceovers, not mine. I'm going to get there. Seasoned dialogue. I think her name is Lisa Marie.
Yeah, I reposted one of your videos with her voice, and I was like, wow, this is amazing.
I pray that I get to meet her one day. Her and Jamila Woods.
Yeah.
All the way up there. I need to meet one day in person. But yeah, I'll listen to it and I'll connect, and I'm like, okay, I know what needs to happen there. I know what needs to happen. I need this to emphasize this right here. I need to caption you for this long. Because her message in this specific area is important. And then it's just like, oh, it just happened that way. Like, it was heaven sent. It was meant to happen that way. Anyway, I'm going on a rant.
No, I appreciate it. This is going to sound a little bit cynical, but it's not meant to. But how much of your training is tailored for what appears on social? So, for example, what you just said about listening to, and then being inspired to do a certain move or seeing, how the visuals work. Yeah, how much of your training is kind of tailored for your social media audience?
Here's what I'll say. I'm in a reset because I did find myself saying like, oh no, this needs to look good. And in this reset, I'm just working out just to work out. Like it started to feel more like an obligation, and also time management is just not in my favor. I had a lot going on. But just like taking a step back, why am I working out? Because I want to look good. I want to look good. I want to look good naked. I want to look good in my clothes. So like, yeah, I just want to work out. I want to make sure that I can enjoy my music and dance. So instead of trying to record everything, I'll have one day where I'm just working out just to work out. And then another day when I'll just record one set. I don't care how it looks. As long as I'm in a frame, it is what it is. And that's it.
There's have you heard of a guy called Austin Kleon?
No, what's that?
He's an artist, and he's written these like small little books, and one of them is called Show Your Work. And the whole premise is, you know, as a creative person, um, we strive a lot for perfection. We strive for creating the perfect picture. And he's like, no, no, no. What you need to do is you need to broadcast your work, your process, you know, how you get there. And that will kind of bring you an audience. Is it just basically like working, like, you know, with a maths problem, you show the working. So showing the working is actually the art, or is part and parcel of the art.
I like that.
And you know, when you were talking about how, you know, you've kind of increased your creativity online, it made me think that, yeah, one of the ways in which I've increased some of my kind of editing and creativity is literally focusing on showing a little bit of the work, a little bit of the behind the scene, as opposed to the finished project all the time.
I like that.
Yeah, Austin Kleon. See, I'm giving you podcasts, I'm giving you books.
Let
I'm,
me
you know.
write that. Let me write that down.
Yeah, Show Your Work is one. I've got all three, and I've forgotten the names of the others. But Show Your Work, it's so good. So it's almost gives you permission just to be as an artist, you know. All right, so we just
That's the
think,
beat. An artist. I
yeah,
like that. I
just to let it be.
actually, a little self-disclosure, I had to stop making art because I was so caught up in doing it for some. And the art therapist in me was working all the time. I was like analyzing my work, and I'm like, oh, I don't have time for that. I can't do that kind of thing. So I had to take a break and like rewire my brain to think, just create, just to create. Like do a scribble drawing, make some shapes. Shapes are my safe haven. Um, and just let it happen. Who cares if it's ugly? Who cares if it doesn't make sense? It means something to you. And I would like to keep that going in how I put out my content. I know I'm like deep in creating meaning with like song and stuff, but if I can just create to create, all I have to do is record the video and always go back. I can make a bad angle work.
Did you have the same attitude with kettlebell juggling, or do you think of art in a complete? Do you think of your art in a completely different way to the way in which you kind of approach kettlebell juggling?
Slightly. I want to say yes, maybe like 50-50, because I guess, yeah, I know when I first get it, it's not going to look super pretty. It's not going to be super smooth unless, like I said before, that movement is similar. Like I've already made that association that it should feel this way and it's going to happen that way, but I don't expect it to look super, super smooth. So I do it a few times and I put my own seasoning in it, and like, I know my body's association with the kettlebell and what I need to do to make it move the way I want to, rather than what somebody else is telling me to do. It's like the same concept I keep in bowling. Um, Bowling, especially when you get into like hooking the ball, it's all about feel. And everybody's giving you tips and feedback based on what feels right for them. But what feels right for them doesn't feel right for me or for you. So I can take that with a grain of salt and make it work for me. But that key point is I need to make it work for me. I need to take what you're telling me, figure out how my body's going to process that and digest it so that I can make it happen on the own.
Mm-hmm. Okay. And that's made me think of like when you're approaching your clients, or when you have, the first few lessons with your clients, are you trying to get them lifting kettlebells, or are you trying to get them doing the more conventional style training? What's your approach, or does your approach differ from person to person with regard to what you introduce to them?
It does differ from person to person. First things first, I got to know that you can swing a bell. If you can't do that, then why are you trying to do anything else? If you can't do a regular swing or a clean, how are you going to try and flip the bell? So I just build on that from there.
So somebody who doesn't know how to swing, what would you start with?
Show me what you can do, basically. Show me what you can do. Don't think about it too hard. Pick up the bell. Let me see how you swing. If you can swing the bell, like I said, it's not going to be pretty, but we can work from there. Okay, put your feet in a little bit closer, right? Or instead of swinging, like you're not extending in the hips, you're not standing up tall. So let's just swing and stand up tall. Clench your glutes at the end of it, right? As I'm doing it. But like the little simple things. So I'm saying clench the glutes. Somebody else might be more receptive to bring your chest up. Some people will say swing the bell, keep it between the knees, but everybody's body proportion is different. So I might tell somebody to kind of like get it lower between the shins so that they are actually hinging at the hips and not squatting. Like for some people with the squats, they say squat back like you're sitting down. I might say squat down like you're touching the floor so that you get a little bit more hinge in it and you're not leaning back.
Okay. So your aim is to get your clients to be using the kettlebell straight away?
Not always. Some people it's not for them. And some people just want it. So it depends on what you want and what works for you. And I had to learn that as a baby trainer. Baby trainer, before I even started with the Wolves, I wanted everybody using kettlebells. I just realized that it's not for everybody. And I was in a traditional gym. I think I was at Retro. And they weren't about that life. Way before kettlebells got popular. Now everybody wants to use the kettlebell. So even in my gym today, I'm in LA Fitness. If I see somebody and I have the patience, I'm feeling grateful or good gratitude. I don't know how to put it, but if I'm feeling spontaneous, I'd be like, let me just help you really quick. Really quick. You don't want to clean the belt like this. You want to kind of like tuck it in this way. It's going to help you a lot. You don't want to press the belt like this. You want to press it from a clean position and have that rotation so that your scapula and all your posterior chain muscles are working as you're trying to press the belt.
Mm. Okay. Okay. And what kind of connected to that? What would be your advice for somebody that's wanting to get into kettlebell juggling, and what benefits have you received from kettlebell juggling that, you would kind of promote to them?
What can I say? Other than just try it, as you were asking me, my mind instantly went to tap into your inner child. When you were younger, you tried everything and you weren't worried about judgment. You weren't worried about like getting it wrong. You just wanted to play. Oh, cousin Tommy, not cousin Tom, cousin Dave. I got cousins. Let me use their name. TJ's jumping off of the jungle gym. I want to jump off the jungle gym. Alicia is doing ballet classes. I want to do ballet classes. Naja's learning how to cook. I want to learn how to cook. Right? You weren't worried about doing it for somebody else. You just wanted to do it because you gravitated toward it. So if you naturally gravitate toward it, just do it. Have fun. And then you'll tweak it as you grow as a person. Because at first you got to get out of the comfort zone, um, or get past the discomfort of I don't think I can do it.
I like that. Okay. Okay. What does this is a deep question, but what does the future hold for Dana in terms of her training, her fitness, kettlebell juggling? Is there going to be more competitions? We haven't even spoken about competition.
The champ is here.
Yeah. Actually, tell everybody what the competition that you've recently took part in, and what was it that you won?
That whole day was stressful because I was taking pictures and I was doing a competition. And then I participated in the kettlebell freestyle. So for that hot second, maybe like 30 minutes or so, I had to pass the camera over so I could mentally prepare, get my life together. And excuse me, let me tell you the crazy thing, right? I juggle with the 8 kg. How much that is? I think it's like 18 pounds. And they told me the day of that I had to use a 6.
Okay.
Right? Now, I don't know about you. I don't know if you know this, but I'm a little strong. So I picked this up. It feels like a paperweight. I'm like, no. It was like, yes, in the rules. And I'm like, so I went in confident, like, I'm about to win. If I'm not winning, I'm coming in second because it's me and Shayla. Like, it's good. And then I pick up the bell and I'm like, oh no. And I flip it and it's just doing too much. I'm like, oh no. Oh no. I'm getting long-winded, but I had to take some time to practice. And I was getting and grooving and I made it to the finals. And I had it the first round. The second round, I started getting nervous because I started dropping the bell. So, and this is the importance of building the foundation. All I did was tap into, let me just juggle. Let me just have fun. Because there were plenty of things I did in that specific flow that I had no plans on doing, but it's things that my body knew. So I just made it work. And then I won. And I was like, oh, it's me. But that's the true importance of building that foundation and being uncomfortable and building it into your muscle memory in the form of play. Because there is no pressure. I didn't think about anything. And that's the benefits of flow. You don't think about it. You let the ball do the ball. You let the bell do something. You catch it and you flow with it. You manipulate it. But if you force it to do something that it's not already in the direction of doing, it's not going to work. You have to be in tune with it to make it work. Anyway, long story short, I get long-winded. That's what really helped me. Was just like, okay, let me just do what I need to do. Let me do what I do. Let me not think about trying to win.
Why? So why did they make it 6 instead of 8?
Because, and what's crazy is I hated it, and then I ended up buying one so I can practice.
Okay.
The way in which you can manipulate a lighter bell is it adds another level to the tricks that you can do. I can easily do an 8 kg and it's going to take me a little time to get it. But if I can get the foundation of it with a 6, I can do it with any other bell. And the concept is men will juggle with a 12 kg for them would be equivalent to a 6 kg for us because they can manipulate a 12 really easy. Easier than, I think the next step up would have been a 16. which some people do, especially men, because they have the muscle for it, but they have to do a little bit more work to get them. Whereas with a 12, it's a little bit easier and it can bing bong boom,
Okay. So the 6 was just to create a standard amongst the women, right?
basically.
Okay. Okay. Got it. Got it. Okay.
Be mad at it now.
Huh?
I said, I can't be mad at it now.
No, you're the champ. So yeah. So what does the future look like for the champ? Where's the journey do you think going to take you with regard to fitness, creativity and fitness? You know, kettlebell juggling. Is there something else that you want to learn to add to your kind of you know, your skills with regard to fitness?
If anything, I want to build on what I have. More storytelling, more about like angles and composition. And
Voiceovers.
huh?
Voiceovers.
Yeah,
some spoken word.
Look, I almost retired. My poetry name is Love Jones.
Okay.
Yeah. Oh, I love myself right now. But yeah, maybe some voiceovers. I really do want to put myself out there more creatively in everything. So doing more voiceovers and having people learn a little bit more about me outside of fitness. So the voiceovers, my good word, my gold talk will drop some gems and talk more about mental health and well-being, understanding your journey and your purpose, those kind of things.
You just made me think of another angle to this podcast, but it's like, you know, there's fitness, there's doing your discipline, there's doing your lifts, but there's also the way in which you share those lifts with people can be something that keeps you going, something that keeps you playful, literally. You know, like, you know, thinking of the inner child, like the inner child will draw a picture and want to show everybody that picture. You know, maybe that's another angle to add to people's playfulness, or, you know, ways in which people can overcome boredom is to kind of literally show your work, like we were saying earlier.
Yeah.
Is to, you know, show your progress.
Show your work. Do you like it? Do you like it?
What do you mean? Sorry, I didn't hear you say again.
Do you like it? People will say, and show your work. But if I don't like my work, why am I going to show it? So it starts with you, because you're going to show it, and no matter what, you're going to get some kind of feedback, encounter, blah, blah, blah. Somebody's going to say something. We talk about social media. We do it for ourselves, but let's be realistic. Sometimes we do it for the likes. So you really do have to release that outcome. I don't want to do it for the likes. I want to go through, like, I'm at a point right now where my social media is specifically for me. When I need motivation, I will go to my Instagram and go listen to what I said, feel the moment in that video, look at the hard work. And then it's like, oh, wow, Dana, you're great. You did that. That's crazy. Like, it's not for anybody else. They're going to have their engagement with it. But at the end of the day, do I like it?
Yeah. You just reminded me, there was a documentary I watched a few months ago, Alicia Keys documentary. And she was talking about how what she wants to do is she wants to blow her own mind. That's kind of like the way that she guides her, you know, her creative process, is that she wants to blow her own mind. And yeah, I try and kind of remind myself of that, but it's difficult. It's difficult to, you know, to kind of dismiss the likes and dismiss the followers. Like, do you have a specific mental process, or of reminding yourself of that, or is it just you're just reminding yourself all the time?
I do remind myself all the time, but like when I do more creative posts, I know that it might not get as much engagement as, I guess, my more popular styles. I will say, I don't care if I get 10 likes. 10 people did. 10 people took the time to like actually pay attention to it. And even if 10 people didn't, and let's say, we all have a short attention span, even if 5 people liked it, 5 people got the message that they were meant to have. I'm okay with it.
Okay. Okay. Right. I like that. I like that. Well, Dana, listen, is there anything else that you wanna tell people or say to people, broadcast, any kind of messages that you kind of eager to tell that you
Everything,
need to kind of everything,
everything.
everything.
Drink your water, meditate, mind your business, do your best, let God do the rest. Don't stop till you get enough. And when you think you had enough, do a little bit more.
Nice, nice. So what does the rest of the day hold for you?
I'm going to go to the gym. I'm going to practice juggling because I had to take a week off after I hit myself in the head.
Okay, okay.
And then I have a Friendsgiving. Really excited.
Okay. All right.
What about
And what is your train like? How often do you train?
it depends on my work schedule and what's going on. But let's say on average 5, anywhere between 4 and 6 days. It
Okay,
really depends.
okay.
If I have the time or if I have, let me just stick with that.
Yeah. Do you spend a long time in the gym? Is it like an hour plus? Like what's the
On the weekends, I'll
timings?
take my time.
Okay.
The weekends, I'll take my time to self-care. 'Cause if the gym is my place,
Yeah, yeah.
I just want
Yes, your
fun.
playground. Yeah, yeah. Yeah.
But during the week, I'll try and keep it maybe like 45 minutes to an hour,
Okay.
maybe an hour and
Okay.
15, just like developing healthy boundaries with the gym as I'm getting older, because I don't want to overtrain. And like I said, I'm 32, I'll be 33. I want to be doing this until I'm 75, 80.
Mm-hmm.
I can't do that if I'm beating up my body for 2 hours a day.
Yeah, yeah. Okay, nice. Well, let me not keep you too long, so you can head to the gym and do that. But Dana, this has been awesome. Thank you so much.
Thank you. You enjoy the rest of your day.